Hi everyone, I'm JC from the Nintendo Treehouse, and this is Nintendo Treehouse Live. Nintendo Treehouse Live is a way for us to give folks a sneak peek of some of the games and projects we're working on. In this case, we have two projects to show you today. Later in the program, we're going to give you a look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. But first, we do want to give you a look at a game that it's very, very near and dear to us in the Treehouse, which is Pikmin 3 Deluxe. And who better to show us through a Pikmin game than my man Corey? So Corey and I are going to take you through a little bit of the main adventure story mode, if you will, and we'll sprinkle a couple of new things along the way. So Corey, want to kick us off?
Yeah, thank you. It is my pleasure to talk anything Pikmin related. As you mentioned, JC, we are showing Pikmin 3 Deluxe today, and right now we're in story mode, probably about 5 minutes into the story, past the introduction, tutorial, cutscenes, etc. And I am controlling one of the explorers named Alf here. Generally, what the story is three Alf and two explorer companions of his crash land on this alien planet and find themselves in need of getting back together again, finding the other explorers, but also finding food for their planet. And they meet these Pikmin creatures on the planet, which are adorable plant-like creatures we can see here that are very curious, they're very loyal, and you'll be using them throughout your adventure. So I just called a few red Pikmin out of the base here. And you notice I'm skipping a few of the prompts. I'm going to be doing that a little bit throughout this just in order to keep the flow going, as well as not to spoil the game for everyone as well. So, but as I move my left stick around, you're able to see that I control my explorer, and the left stick also controls this red cursor as well. So if I'm all the way out of range, it also moves the explorer. If I push the A button where the cursor is located, you'll toss a Pikmin to that location. And if you toss a Pikmin near something like this flower pellet over here, you'll see that the Pikmin automatically starts to carry it back to his base, which is called an onion, and we're going to see some sprouts pop out of the top there and then go into the ground, which is the way Pikmin propagate. So if you want to get more Pikmin on your squad, you just want to bring things back to their base and then pluck the new Pikmin out of the ground. I've been using the control stick to control thus far the cursor, but what I'm going to do now briefly is just pause the game and switch over to motion control to control the cursor, just because that's a personal preference of mine that I started to like a lot more on the Wii U release, but it is totally optional for player preference on how to control the pointer. So that red pointer where you see 23 is now being controlled with just a little bit of motion now. So story-wise, we are trying to reunite with our fellow explorer, Brittany. And if I pause the game using the minus button, we can see that there's sort of a radar being pulsating over here across the water. So it looks like I need to somehow cross the water to reach Brittany. But if I try to take the direct approach and just go through the water, we're finding out that the game tells us that red Pikmin are not able to go into the water. Water is lethal to them. So fortunately, I can use my whistle with the B button and whistle all of my Pikmin back to land. So because the Pikmin are so helpful throughout my adventures, you really do grow a bond to them, and you do not want to lose even one. But yes, there's a little creature over here that wants a lunch too. So
yeah, it looks hungry.
Yeah, these yellow things that you'll come across are memos, which can often give you a brief hint on how to go about your adventure here. So it recommended me tossing a Pikmin on the back of that creature, which if I toss a couple more, we'll be able to carry that creature back to the base to get more Pikmin. And I actually tossed some Pikmin on these bridge tiles as well, because what we're able to see is even though I can't cross the water yet, if I collect enough bridge tiles with my Pikmin, they'll be able to build this bridge. So while they are bringing those tiles to the bridge, I can see that there's a few more bridge pieces across this wall, but I need to break down that wall. So if I toss a couple Pikmin at the wall, they'll start breaking it down, but they'll go pretty slowly. So if I want to speed up the process, we throw more Pikmin at the job. And Meanwhile, we still have our Pikmin collecting these tiles. Looks like my Pikmin also brought back that carcass from the small little creature, so we were able to get even more Pikmin. And we'll throw these new Pikmin at the wall to make it go even faster.
You know, this whole thing about Pikmin, I do want to talk a bit more about that because I think it's really interesting. You know, these Pikmin, you think about it, right? You pluck them out of the ground, and these big eyes, they're still trying to figure out the world, and they're kind of relying on someone to tell them what to do. So, as you can tell, all these Pikmin have like a single focus when you tell them what to do. And, you know, from their perspective, it's like, okay, well, I should follow this living thing that's telling me what to do, right? But at the same time, you know, it's kind of curious about you. The open eyes, full of wonder, you know, it's kind of relying on you to kind of help it, right? And so I feel kind of bad because, you know, at times you may encounter some enemies and Pikmin may, what's the word? Die. And that sound is absolutely heartrending, and I do not wish that on anyone. However, if you put Pikmin in a bad situation, it's kind of your fault. It's not theirs. So take care of your Pikmin. That's the story.
That's right. And I had to go back and collect them. As you mentioned, they were single-minded. So once they're done with a task, they kind of just wait for their next order. So you're constantly needing to whistle to get their attention whenever they complete their tasks. And we're coming up against our second creature of the game here, which is a larger version of that Bulborb we saw, that creature. And as I creep around here before waking him up, I did want to point out another one of the fun features of the game, which is the in-game camera. At any time, you can push the minus button to pause and kind of just see the world from your explorer's eyes, which is that pint-sized view. So we've got, this Pikmin's just looking at me waiting for his next order. Hey, buddy. But it's a fun way to take pictures on your journey, as well as almost feel like you're kind of on this nature safari. While this enemy is sleeping, instead of tossing my Pikmin one at a time, I'm going to use a different feature which is called Charge, which if you lock on and press the X button, will send them all of your Pikmin in your squad at the creature or object at once. And that can be very useful if you've got a large squad you're wanting them to take an order all at one time. So you can use that on the walls as well, for example.
And you mentioned that you just used that feature a couple times. I do want to point that out because I really, really like that feature, which is the lock-on feature. If you're familiar with the Pikmin games, you'll kind of remember that there was no lock-on feature. You had to kind of manually aim, kind of do it. But by tapping the ZR button a couple times, you can cycle through targetable items on the screen. And so it can make kind of tossing and moving your Explorer a lot faster just by kind of hot swapping between different lock-on targets. So I really dig that.
Yeah, and I think the cycling through the different objects and enemies is the thing that really helps me when there are multiple objects or you're in a tight space. So we're coming across Brittany. We're getting a little bit closer to her. We are seeing that fortunately she's okay. The crash landing just made her take a little bit of a nap, and she needs to be rescued now. She's kind of still trapped in here.
I like that language you're speaking.
Yeah, the explorers do speak a different language, so fortunately we as the players can see the subtitles there. Very cute language. All right, so Brittany noticed that there was some fruit nearby, which we will see just as we round the corner. A strawberry, which looks much larger in this world to us because we, as the explorer and the Pikmin, are so tiny. And because my explorer cannot jump, the only way to reach this item is actually by tossing Pikmin near the strawberry. So you see that number 3 on the bottom. That indicates that the minimum number of Pikmin required to move the object is 3, but you can throw a few more if you want the object to move a little bit faster. And they will know instinctively, the Pikmin, to bring that back to the base. So I can leave them on their own, and they'll get it back there. And as we're trying to continue on and rescue Brittany, we need to get past this wall, but we're finding that this wall, red Pikmin can't break down. And so another new feature that I wanted to showcase here is these optional hints that have been added. So if a newer player, got stuck or just wanted to know what to do next, you can push up on the plus control pad, and that's going to show some hints. and then even in addition, some arrows on the ground just to let you know where to go. So it's guiding me to a nearby cave here to maybe find what we need to progress the story.
And at the top of the screen, you'll notice that kind of sun meter kind of crawling across from left to right across the top of the screen. And that kind of indicates how much time, Corey has to get through his tasks because, well, let's just say nighttime is not very nice to Pikmin. You want to make sure you get them out of there before sundown. And, that actually ties into the hints also. So if this is the first time for you playing the game, if you really just want to make the most out of your day and you want something, some kind of hint, feel free to use them. And just it'll help you kind of explore different ways and different methods that maybe you weren't aware of yet. So definitely use it.
And after defeating this enemy, we discovered that there were a new type of Pikmin that were actually inside that creature. These are rock Pikmin. And we didn't go into detail earlier, but each Pikmin type will have their own specialties. So we're learning here that rock Pikmin have the ability to break sort of these hard crystals or glass, which red Pikmin would not. Later on, you'll see that blue Pikmin are the only Pikmin that can go in the water. So, all right. So now that we've got that enemy defeated, I would like to basically sprout a few more rock Pikmin. So I'm going to ask those rock Pikmin to bring it back to the onion, and we will pluck some more rock Pikmin out before we continue our adventure. And again, one of those memos that pop up, letting you know a little game tip. I love the adorable kind of 2D artwork on those as well. All right, so we've got our rock Pikmin. We've got our red Pikmin. I feel confident we can head out of this cave now. Oops. Let me reorient myself there. There we go. So this wall that we could not break down earlier, again, if I try to throw red Pikmin, we'll see that nothing really happens. But if I push the L button, I swap between Pikmin types and can now throw rocks Pikmin, and we're seeing them break down the wall. Using my whistle to gather my Pikmin back, and Brittany, finally we found you. Let's get you out of there. Let's break down this glass wall as well.
That's a celebratory backflip they just did.
She is super happy to no longer be confined. So now that they've reunited here, I'm able to use both Brittany and Alf at the same time. And the first kind of way that the game will teach you, it's not just for, I guess, aesthetics that you can have multiple party members, but it actually comes in handy from a strategy perspective. So having Brittany, you can toss her over a gap, toss her some Pikmin, and then at any moment while you're playing, you can push the Y button and switch to Brittany. And then we're going to see that she's able to, since she's on a higher elevation, throw some Pikmin up to reach that lemon. And if I were on a lower elevation, I'm going to whistle really quickly once they get this lemon down, we would see that if I tried to throw red Pikmin that high, they would not be able to reach that high. So there are points throughout the game where you will need to split up your squad and maybe throw one over a gap or over water. But since we do have two explorers now in the game, both Alf and Brittany, JC, I thought it could be a good time for you to hop in, since with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, it is the first time that two people can play the story mode together. At any time, you can just pause, go to play co-op, and JC, you want to hop in?
Absolutely.
Cool. So we'll see the screen now becomes split with me on the left, JC on the right. JC doesn't have any Pikmin right now, so he can't really do much on his own. So I'm going to throw some red Pikmin your way, and you'll just have to whistle at them, and they'll be in your party.
Appreciate that.
And I'm going to keep charge of these rock Pikmin, and let's just keep making our way forward. There's some creatures up here that are carrying crystals, which can be a little dangerous to the red Pikmin. So let me take these guys out before the red Pikmin squad comes in. All right,
Appreciate that.
They are gone. So
I'll take these bridge tiles over here and start building, because there's a bridge. So I'll start doing this.
Okay. there is a bridge we found, and JC is going to get one side. And I found some bridge tiles on the left that need to be carried back, but it was in a sort of crystal, so I used my rock Pikmin there. And we're kind of seeing some teamwork here. JC is using his squad to do a different task than me, which is, yeah, again, we're making the most of our time, and it's fun working together. So I'm going to... Looks like I've got 7 more bridge tiles to go, and we will have this bridge completed. Come on, rock Pikmin.
And I did time that appropriately to make sure that I wanted the red one. So I get more red Pikmin.
So our bridge should be done now almost. Looks like they've got it. Final piece is in place, and
there we go.
All right, so now that we've got the bridge, I'm just going to whistle to make sure I've got all of the kind of idle Pikmin in my party. And actually...
I'm taking some.
Yeah, okay, good. You threw some Pikmin on some enemies and some, yeah, some food, some pellets that we can bring back. And as we make our way back, you're going to notice that we're actually back where we started. So we built a bridge, sort of a shortcut now, back to the starting point. I'll go ahead and grab these red Pikmin since they're just standing there. And we're finding a new wall that we couldn't actually break down earlier when we first started. So since I found rock Pikmin, I'm going to throw them at this wall. And we didn't talk too much about this earlier, but any piece of fruit that you saw, we got the strawberry earlier, you'll want to bring that back to your base. And the more fruit you collect, the more days you're going to be able to explore this world. So that's how fruit plays a role in the game's story mode. Brittany here is noticing that we got a new radar kind of detection from elsewhere on the map, so she's recommending we go check it out. There's another tip letting us know that red Pikmin are fire resistant.
Looks so defiant in the face of fire. Look at that. I just kind of enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to take out this this enemy.
Some new creatures here. All right. Oh, and I did not listen to that warning, but my rock Pikmin's lit up like a birthday candle, and he's freaking out. Similar to Pikmin, if they're drowning, as long as you whistle at a Pikmin in peril, as long as it's in time, they'll come running back to you, and they'll be okay. Here it's just letting us know that we found some bridge materials, but this time it's on the opposite side of the water, so there's going to be a little bit more complications in order to get those bridge pieces. All right.
Taking this.
I also have some red Pikmin in my party, so rather than continuing to burn my rock Pikmin, I'm going to try to use my red Pikmin as well. Oh, thank you. Teamwork.
I got you.
Nice. All right, so those enemies have been felled. All right, so at this point, there is the bridge that we cannot cross on the left. JC, if you kind of come up to where I'm at, I'm going to hold down the Y button, which will allow you to join my party, and then I can toss you over the water, and I can also throw some rock Pikmin over to you, because I think you're going to need some rock and some red.
Thank you.
And while you work on that bridge, I'll just hang out.
Sweet. Ooh, yes. Found him.
Oh, nice. You used the charge feature. Well
I'm
done.
Impatient.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to have a little bit of fun. And one of my other favorite features of the game, we showed it a little bit earlier, but that camera, I really like it. From that pint-sized perspective, there's our enemy we just defeated, but we can also see some Pikmin hanging out. Do some autofocus. Oh, wow. They are just waiting for you to get your job done, lounging.
They need direction. They need guidance. They need love and support and all the other things.
I love taking photos. Okay. Back to work. You guys. Finish your bridge.
Yeah, I think my folks are done on my side, so we're good.
Actually, the one other feature I wanted to showcase briefly is another new feature to Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which is called the Piclopedia. And here, any creatures that you come across in the game will get their own entries, and you can, once you go in, you can tap on it, and see different entries from different explorers in your party. So we've got Alf here that's commenting on this dwarf bulborb. Since we've got Brittany, we can see her comments as well. There are spaces for 3 additional explorers notes, so you can imagine that there will be some other fun notes to read about as well. But I find that it's really fascinating to come in because each explorer has their own take on how they talk about the enemies and creatures you come across. So yeah, that is probably enough story mode for now. I'll go ahead and pause the game, and let's switch over to another brand new feature to Pikmin 3 Deluxe called Side Stories. These are some elements where you'll be able to see what Captain Olimar and Louis got up to prior to the main story of Pikmin 3.
Mm-hmm. Oh, before I forget, let's also talk about, I remember we mentioned the whole, the sun kind of passing over, and they have a certain limited amount of time in the day. For those people, there's actually a much more difficult mode for you. So, you want to talk about that, Corey?
Yeah, there are 3 difficulty modes in story in Pikmin 3 Deluxe. There's normal, hard, and there is even an ultra spicy difficulty setting, which gives you only 60 Pikmin can be in the field at once, as well as some additional challenging elements. So for those that are familiar with Pikmin 3 or want a much bigger challenge, that'll be right up your alley. But yeah, for now, let's hop into a sneak peek of Side Stories, which I mentioned feature Captain Olimar prior to the happenings of the main story. And we're going to see Olimar here facing the camera. Sort of the background of this is that Captain Olimar, the company he works for, is in debt yet again back on his home planet. And his boss is sending him here looking for treasure to help the company get out of debt. Olimar is a very loyal worker and will go to great lengths to make his boss and employer happy. So good for Olimar here. Of course, Captain Olimar was in Pikmin 1 and the original Pikmin and Pikmin 2, as well as Louis, who was his partner in Pikmin 2. Maybe a little bit less competent than Captain Olimar, who you can see here, but still a very key member of Olimar's team.
Well, and he's got his charm. Louis got charm.
Yeah, no, Louis great. We love Louis. But let's see here. All right, the objective of this mission is actually going to be different from the story mode we were playing earlier, because now the goal is just to collect as much treasure as we can in 12 minutes. And JC, of course, we've got you in here split screen right now, but for the moment, we'll just switch it back to solo play for simplicity, and I will, I still do get to control both explorers, so I can still get Olimar in my party. I can also call the yellow Pikmin, which we're seeing for the first time in this demo, over, and we'll see a little bit of their specialties. So we've got this electrified fence where if I throw a red Pikmin at it, we'll see them get a little bit electrocuted, but the yellow Pikmin are immune. They can be thrown at an electric fence and they can start destroying it. So we will leave Louis there to keep an eye on our yellow Pikmin while we take our red Pikmin out into the rest of the map. And we saw this creature a second ago and learned that he's got kind of fire breathing, but knowing that we've got our red Pikmin with us, we're not worried about fire. So even if they get shaken off, which this enemy creature is doing, we can let's do some charging actually, Adam. There we go.
Confidence, Corey. Nice.
And since the Pikmin were nearby when he was defeated, they're just automatically going to bring him back, which I will let them do. And we found some wild Pikmin, and blue Pikmin in the wild here, so we'll just call them. But before we hop in this water here, I'm going to swap back to Louis to see what he's up to, and he's just plucking Pikmin and keeping an eye on those yellow Pikmin. So, all right, let's take our blue Pikmin into the water. Again, blue Pikmin are the only Pikmin that can survive in the water. We found a creature in here that's a little bit hard to see, but he's under the water here. You can see that pie chart slowly starting to disappear. And this number 5 is actually the amount of gold treasure, gold nuggets here. As the Pikmin take this treasure back to the base, we're going to see in our upper left the currency start to increase, which are Pocos, which is the currency of Olimar and Louis' home planet. So that is my objective, to bring back as much treasure as we can. Looks like the yellow fence is almost done, but not quite. So we will... oh, we lost some Pikmin somewhere. What happened? Oh, no!
That sound, Corey.
I was not as smart as I could have been, and I lost some Pikmin because there's this creature down here that is electric, that I believe either electrocuted my blue Pikmin or maybe ate them, but
Maybe
just
both.
Take them out. Yeah, maybe both. Yeah. I can still throw blue Pikmin at him, but once he starts to generate electricity, you want to get away. All right. I think we've got him. The blue Pikmin. All right, they're bringing him back. Great. Let's head back here with him. Actually, Louis got control of that, so I'm just going to take control of Olimar, and maybe Olimar can find some more Pikmin on the stage.
You know, I also noticed that you're walking by a couple of different fruit and stuff like that, and I also want to point out
Pluck these.
the different ways you can kind of think about a map. Because, from my perspective, if you have a large number of Pikmin, that really is a defining factor of how much you can grab. Because, a large piece of fruit or a large item that requires a lot, if it's farther away from your base, you're not only going to need to, have the number to carry that item, but if you find something on the way back, you're going to need enough to, like if you want spur of the moment just to go pick it up, you're going to need to also have enough Pikmin to pick up that item as well. So I always try to memorize, like, where items are, what did I see, where did I pass it, is there anything else en route that I could probably take the next time I come back. And so it also creates a really interesting kind of play mechanic where I'm kind of thinking about how could I do this better, right? It's like I did it in this order last time. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this map one more time, and I know I can get more out of it. I know I missed that. I missed this. So lots of replay value here.
And I can already tell you, replay value. I've already made multiple mistakes that I would not have wanted to do, such as losing those blue Pikmin early. So if I played this again, there would have been things I would have done differently. But while I've got these Pikmin bringing back grapes, I'm gonna switch back to Louis here, just to make sure that I always want to have my Pikmin doing something in this mode, because again, you want to create that high score and get as much treasure as you can. So, all right, we've got this gold nuggets going, and looks like these Pikmin are still working on the grapes. Keep an eye on them. All right, let's go back to base, because there might just be some idle Pikmin at base waiting for their next order, which there are. Let's take them out for their next adventure.
Give them purpose, Corey.
Ooh, and pluck some more Pikmin. All right, while they're plucking. While Pikmin are being plucked, it's always a good idea to switch to your other explorer. All right. Because you can't, while they're being plucked, there's not really much else that those guys can be doing. So, all right. Got another creature here whose weakness is actually on his back because he's got this shell on the front. Let's see if we can just charge. Oh, no.
That didn't go as planned.
Oh, no. We didn't see that. No, let's just get away from that.
Oh, man, that
Not all
sound.
Pikmin, not all creatures are actually small, though, even though we bailed out of that battle. And that creature was quite small. There are some creatures that are much more intimidating and large that you'll come across. This one included, which, yeah, let's get away from those guys. I've collected 327 Pocos or gold so far. This is probably a good point to end for now. I don't want to spoil too much of these side stories. But yeah, let's end here for now. But we've got one more mode that we wanted to showcase, which is completely different from anything we've shown so far. And it is a one-on-one competitive mode called Bingo Battle.
Yeah, so Bingo Battle, is definitely one of, I think, our favorite modes in the Treehouse because it gets really, really heated. You'll see in a second. And the objective of Bingo Battle really is to fill out your bingo card. I'm going to be on the right side, Cora will be on the left. And of course, if you're familiar with bingo, all you have to do is just make a line. It could be vertical, horizontal, diagonal, any kind of line. And to fill out each of those little spaces, you have to collect either an item or an enemy to fill in that space. Sometimes there's multiple of an item, sometimes there's not. But if you take a look at the two cards in the bottom and the middle, you'll notice that there are the same items, but they are placed differently on each of our bingo cards. And I'm not as good at this mode as Corey, so I'm gonna focus a little bit, craft my strategy of what I want to focus on first, and
yeah, I can talk a little bit about what's going on right now. Since we start with only 5 Pikmin by default, of course you can customize that, but because we start with 5, you're going to want to create a larger Pikmin squad as quickly as you can, because the more Pikmin that you have in your squad, the more that you're able to accomplish. And the more that you're able to divide tasks, if you need to divide tasks like building a bridge or sending some to one area and some to another. JC pushed the minus button there to pull up the map, which either player can do. If you're ever not sure where a specific item on the bingo board that you want to collect is, it's simple as pulling up that map to say, oh, I need to get an orange. Then where's the orange on the map? I'm going to go get that because that's what I need to complete my bingo card. So I think what you're going to see JC and I doing first is both growing our squads, and then you see that we both got bridge tiles on the sides of our map as well. So we've been collecting some of those bridge tiles to build a bridge so we can cross the water.
And there's a lot of deep strategy in here too. While Corey's talking, I'm actually thinking about a couple things. Like, for example, taking a look at the bingo card that I have and actually targeting the corners. If I target the corners, which I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but you wouldn't normally. If you target corners, that means you have with one item, you're able to get like a horizontal, vertical, and diagonal line all at the same time.
Sure. You got that?
Yeah, absolutely. And just
why are
because
you coming into my base? Oh, JC. So that is a good point to show that, yeah, you can go into each other's bases. And JC threw some Pikmin towards me, which started, they kind of just start like thwacking at my head, which is really annoying. But very effective, and I have to use the control stick to shake them off. My Pikmin can defeat JC's Pikmin, which is nice, but if our Pikmin do encounter each other, they will want to...
I just saw one of my Pikmin get slapped by yours, and...
oh, did they fight each other a little bit?
Actually, it's on me now, but don't worry, the songs will be sung of you, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Go get him. Go get him.
Okay, let's...
Yeah.
I see that JC has an item actually from a roulette that he has, which is a triple rocks, which he is able to use and drop on me. So I actually have to be really careful here.
I'm being very quiet about it. And now he just, all right, he pointed it out, so that's fine. Okay. Gotta move, gotta think. Okay.
And again, yeah, you do want to sometimes be aware of what your opponent's up to in this game.
Okay, so that's fine. Okay.
Because JC can get pretty crafty at times.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna take a little detour here, and I'm gonna start strategizing by pulling some of these Pikmin I found that are my color, but they are in the water. So now I'm gonna try and get some of these. I'm gonna grab these blue ones.
I know. Let's get you in the water. Yeah. Oh. I tried to lure your red Pikmin in the water.
No.
See if they would follow
Stay
me.
away from my babies.
Okay. Need some cherries.
I'll take care of that. That's fine.
So this is the first time I'm finding a cherry item, which
that's probably
again, these cherries give me a free spin on the item roulette, which can often change the tides of battle. So I'm wanting to get as many of these cherries as possible. Back to my base. All right, I've got a rock. So my cherry got me a free bomb rock,
not good.
which I can throw a Pikmin at this rock, and now I've got a rock, a bomb rock basically. So if I throw that bomb rock at let's just throw it in an enemy right now. Oh, he woke up and got out of there. Oh man, that was kind of a waste.
Let me see if I can actually get
we can use electricity to just sort of be annoying to JC there and temporarily disable him. Another item that I picked up through that I got from my cherry is sort of a free spin on the item roulette, which is this golden object, which if I use it will fill up a spot on my bingo card randomly. which looked like was an apple.
Oh, no. It's the water. It's the water. It's the water, no.
All right.
Okay.
I think this guy here. I'm going to continue in charge.
I need to
Leave him
find a different
alone.
way around this because...
Okay. So I need 2. I see the line that I want, but I'm... Oh, no! That was a direct hit! Oh, my gosh. You got me at like the right time. I have one...
Oh, I was staring at your
one
screen. I'm
Pikmin.
sorry.
I am down to 1 single Pikmin. If I win this map,
Oh, man.
JC will never live it down.
Oh, dude, yeah, if I won't.
He got me
I
sleeping,
won't.
and I have 1 Pikmin. I
Let's
wish
see if I can actually just...
I had
I
more than
really
one.
shouldn't do this, though.
I need...
Dude, these
To
guys are
get
going
more
to get so
Pikmin.
eaten.
Oh, man.
If I get distracted, maybe. Let it toss. It's fine.
I just...
Oh, it's still shaking so much. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh. Come on. I need a cherry.
Okay, dude, if I could just pick up... Where was that? I really shouldn't be checking this right now, but... Oh, that's right. All the enemies actually show up as those green flashing dots. So I'm actually trying to find this
Here we go.
guy.
Okay. Whew, the long battle.
Go, 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 go. Oh,
Me and my
blue
buddy.
ones.
You're my boy,
Where are my
Blue.
blues? Did we just say blue at the same time?
Oh, that was exactly what I needed. Okay. Whew. So the item that I just got was a 10 free Pikmin, basically, which sprout at my base.
Come on. Come on, this will work. This will work.
But I need way more. JC looks like he just needs the red Bulborb and the red Marble, which are both
You mean
en
like these
route.
two?
Yes. And I don't think I'm going to have enough Pikmin to...
Oh, please
Get
tell me
you.
this is happening.
Nice.
Oh, this is so good. Oh, my
JC
palms are
got
sweaty.
it.
I'm so excited. It's so good.
So what was, yeah, I think from my perspective, what really turned the tides there is I was about to defeat both Bulborbs that I needed, but that rock came down at just the inopportune moment. And I had just kind of forgotten that JC still had that item. So
Yeah, I
well
was actually
done. You used it at exactly the right time.
That feels so good,
Um,
guys. Okay.
JC feels way too good right now, so we're going to play one more game. This one is going to be over in probably 2 minutes because I have way more incentive now to not take it easy. I'm not saying I was taking it easy last time, but
that felt so good.
this
Oh my
is a
gosh.
much smaller stage, so JC and I are probably going to come to a skirmish much quicker than we did in the last game. So there's really less of an opportunity to make mistakes here. There's also just a lot of, again, the map is small, so we want to be acting very quickly with our moves.
Yep. And Corey, again, because Corey pointed out that the map is really small, you're probably going to see us get into some pretty heated...
Yeah, the
pretty heated battles real
the
quick.
only thing in between us is that really this orange Bulborb enemy that you kind of see here that's sort of harassing me at my base right now. So other than that, we can just sort of waltz into each other's bases.
Which scares me because we're so close. All right. What if I start just... Come on. Come on. Oh, it's a big one. I didn't see it. Oh, run.
Oh, man.
No. No, this is bad. This is bad. All bad. So many. The sound of dying Pikmin. Okay. So I need to do some more about this here. Let's just do this. Okay. So I'll take that back. Get some numbers. This one's okay. Use a charge. Let's see
Oh
what
man,
else we
these
can get.
Bulborbs are just hungry, and wow, I do not like that they're on my side of the map right now. It's almost as if you sent them over here, but I know you didn't.
I did not. Speaking of sending things over. You... Oh my gosh!
So it's only nice
no.
to give gifts that I gave JC the gift of the same bomb rocks that he sent me earlier.
I wonder if that actually worked out in my favor, because at least he's not seeing that I'm actually trying to steal one of the only things on the map that exists, which is a golden strawberry.
Nope, not
No,
seeing
no,
it
no, no,
totally
no,
at
no,
all.
no, no,
I have
you
no
are-
idea what you're doing.
No, that's...
Were
hold
you
on,
doing
cancel the block.
something?
Nope, we're good.
Golden strawberry, you said?
No, mine. I have numbers. But no.
So
Why
all I
are
need
you
now is a
going-
red strawberry, which it looks like is right behind my base. And so as long as our... Oh, wow. Yeah, so I can give up. I don't need to worry about the golden strawberry because I've got
He's got the other one.
the red delicious sunseed berry for the quick bingo. I think that was a little over 2 minutes. So
That was
I
a little
won't-
over. That was a speed. That was like a mercy win right there. You were
It gets
just ending
really
it quickly.
competitive playing
Ugh.
bingo battle. As you can see from a little bit of a taste, we absolutely love this mode. But really, all the modes offer a little bit of a different type of gameplay. So we hope you're looking forward to checking out Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Be on the lookout for an eShop demo that will include save data transfer to the full game. And if you complete the eShop demo, defeat the last boss in the demo, you'll be able to start the full game with Ultra Spicy mode if you'd like that extra challenge. So again, thanks for checking out a little bit of Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Don't forget the game itself comes out on October 30th.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey. Again, really appreciate it. Thanks for letting me have that one win because that does not happen often. And again, I can't wait to play some more bingo battle with you, in October. So, coming up next, obviously, is I'm waiting for this too, which is Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. So, over to you, Kay.
Thanks, JC. Thanks, Corey. Wow, Pikmin looks like a lot of fun. Hi, everyone. I'm Kay from Nintendo Treehouse, and I've got my colleagues Chico and Kendra here with me. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that we are doing this remotely. So there might be some technical limitations, but we're asking for your patience and your understanding as we work as hard as we can to bring you an amazing stream. So today we're going to take a look at Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, which takes place 100 years before Breath of the Wild, and tells the story of the Great Calamity and the events leading up to it, which really can only be told through the 1 versus 1,000 action of a Warriors game. We'll start off with a first look at Urbosa. I'm so excited.
Woohoo!
Chico, are you ready?
Yes, I am. So
Let's get started.
I'm fine. I know. I'm playing as Urbosa right now, as you can see, and I'm actually inside the Gerudo town right now. And then it is a Hyrule Warriors game, so you will be using X and Y button to do weak and strong attack, and then also A. Oh wait, Iga Waymas is coming. Right now, the Gerudo town is under attack by Iga clan, but I don't want to talk about why they're here. But the objective is I have to actually defeat all 3 Iga Blade Masters. So to do that, in addition to the usual Hyrule Warriors action, I have to use Rune to counterattack. And I can use, I just use the stasis now, as you can tell. But each character can use all 4 different runes in different occasions. So I need to focus on attacking him right now. So I'm going to let Kay and Kendra talk about what's unique about Urbosa.
Great, thank you so much, Chico. Yeah, Urbosa's gameplay is really fun and exciting. And as you can see, it's focused on her ability to use an attack with lightning. She has a unique ability to charge up lightning, which is represented by the gauge at the top of the screen. And yep, she's charging it right there. And once it's charged up, she can actually use the lightning in addition to her strong attacks to kind of strengthen those attacks and do some really character-specific stuff with it. She also uses lightning in her weak point counters and in her special attacks. And if Chico can get the timing right, after some of these big attacks where there's still some electricity lingering in the air,
Nice.
she can charge up her electricity super quick, which takes a lot of skill
Yes.
and a lot of timing, but it's very satisfying when you can pull it off.
Okay, so I'm running
And
around
to-
in the town.
And I just wanted to add too, aside from the gameplay that you're seeing, well, first of all, oh wait, no,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
interrupting myself because there's a Korok.
There it is. It's so cute.
So clearly Koroks are in the stages that you can find. But this is the first time that people get to play as Urbosa, which is already super awesome. And this area probably looks pretty familiar to some Breath of the Wild fans.
Yeah.
And it's
the
cool
whole
to
town
see
looks
these places.
so great.
Pre-Calamity. But what I did want to say is fans can look forward to getting more backstory on these characters as well. You really get a good look at Urbosa's relationship to Zelda, and also more information about Urbosa's relationship to Zelda's late mother. So if you're like me and you love to get to know the characters and get to know them in ways that you didn't get to in Breath of the Wild, this game is your opportunity to do that.
That's right. It's really, there's a lot to unpack in here and a lot to see, and it's very thrilling for fans of Breath of the Wild to be able to take a look, a more in-depth look at this time in the story. All right, and now we're taking a look at Zelda's gameplay, which is also a first look. Very exciting. As you can see, she uses the runes as her main attacks, in addition to being able to use them just like everyone else. And she can create different combinations of runes to take out huge swarms of enemies. Oh my gosh. In a very unique way. It's so cool to see Zelda being able to take out these guys.
Yeah, and for me, anytime Zelda gets to, you get to play as Zelda and annihilate enemies as Zelda, it's pretty much a win for me, because Zelda in a Zelda game.
Yeah. Well, and she's really fun to play as in this one. Nice work. Nice work.
I'm just gonna go back to Urbosa because she is my favorite.
She's great.
I know Zelda is great, but yeah. Okay,
Urbosa's
so I have
also
to
great.
chase
But
after.
Urbosa.
Yes, definitely. I have to chase after the Iga people, so I'm gonna go after that to the location I'm told to go. There looks like there's a lot of people here.
And for people who are new to the Warriors series, as you can see, there are prompts on the screen that help guide you through the process of the gameplay and the action. But you also can turn those off if you want to.
So I'm at this location, and it looks like my objective is to defeat the enemies with loud attack. So I think I need to do. Oh, I can't use right now, but I will wait till my rune fills up first. But
Make some noise, Chico.
okay, so I'm going.
Do it.
I'll do that. Hold on. These guys are loud.
This guy's really getting in your way. So as you can see, when you use the Sheikah runes, there is a little bit of a wait time for it to charge back up before you can use it again, which is very similar to how it worked in Breath of the Wild. Oh man, that was a gorgeous takeout right there. And the reason for using these loud attacks was to call forth a certain familiar monster. And there he is. Oh man.
You sure it's not a lady though?
I think he's beautiful.
Yeah, he's too scary. And he's coming after me, so I don't think I want to do this. Bye-bye.
No, let's go ahead and
That's it.
let's escape to the main menu while we can.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back to the world map and show some of the gameplay between battles, leveling up characters, strengthening weapons, and unlocking things. There it is, very familiar map of Hyrule. Chico, do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so if you ever play, like original Hyrule Warriors game or maybe different Warriors game, you might be familiar with how the menu look like. You will go from chapter 1 to 3 type thing. But this one, you actually go through different chapters and locations using the map of Hyrule from the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And when I first saw this, I was literally screaming because it was so gorgeous and I just loved it. And because it's a Hyrule Warriors game, when you're playing the stages, you collect a lot of different type of materials. So using those materials, you can unlock different locations on the map, like the stables, other training grounds, and even like different dishes you can cook type thing. So one of the things I wanted to show is actually here, blacksmith. So it is a Hyrule Warriors game, so you will be collecting a lot of different weapons while you are in the stage. Not like Breath of the Wild, you don't. The weapons do not break during the stage, but you can use these weapons you collected to strengthen your primary use weapon. So right now I'm using this sword, but there's other different type of weapons I can get and different way to use it. So I want to use my sledgehammer, iron sledgehammer, and fuse them with all the materials I got so far.
With the level
And
1
I think
soup ladle that you will not neglect. Don't you dare.
Okay, so
Okay. Whew. I was worried.
I shouldn't. It's okay. It's okay.
No, use it.
Okay, so
Yes, it's okay.
you can use up to 5 different weapons, and you can strengthen. You of course have to use the rupees, so make sure you collect the rupees when you are in the stage too. And now I have my sledgehammer leveled up to 5, so I can use that for next battle if I want to. Another thing is the materials you collected. You can make the dish. So let's see, this one is ready. So spurred fish dish. And you need the materials 5 fish, so I have that trout. So now I love that dish, so I can earn the recipe for chili fish skewer.
Right, and the recipes can be used to give your characters a little bit of a buff before you go into battle. And there are a bunch of different types that have different effects, so it's pretty fun to collect them and see what they do. Yep,
And
they
then,
also
by
have
defeating the go ahead.
yeah, so by defeating monsters and getting those materials, you can also turn them into these other quests, which you can use to unlock bonus combos or extra health or other such things. But the thing I really like about these is that they have little stories that go along with them. Little glimpses into the characters' lives between battles during this war. The one that we just did, for example, is about a young child in Hateno village who wants to build a monster dummy so that they can practice using a two-handed sword. And so Link actually brings the materials to make the dummy, creates this dummy, helps them build it, and then they train together. And that's how Link is able to come up with an extra move for his two-handed sword. And I love it because Link's from Hateno village. So it's a very cute glimpse into his life.
Yeah, the world building is
So,
really excellent in this game.
Yeah, we just strengthened this two-handed. Sledgehammer is basically a two-handed sword type. So I'm going into the training mission where I can actually use this sledgehammer to showcase how the two-handed sword or two-handed weapon will work in this game. So I changed my weapon, and I guess I can change my tire.
Yeah, you can
I'll be a
unlock
bit-
different pieces of armor as you progress through the game, and you can equip or, I guess, unequip them and dress him up however you want.
They look nice.
yeah,
What are you talking about?
This is
And
Link's,
also,
training attire.
and this is the chili fish skewer we just got from the recipe. location, so I can use that.
Right, and every character will react differently to the dishes that you cook for them. And some characters even have favorite dishes, and they'll say something different when you give them their favorite dish. So it's a lot of fun to try out a bunch of different recipes and see which your characters prefer.
Yeah, and if you watch the TGS live stream, you might have seen the cutscene where it's showing the tower actually raising from the ground. And that tower is actually going to be a base for Link whenever he goes to the next mission. So I think you just saw him kind of like warping from the tower to that new location where I'm going to be showcasing the 200 sword training mission.
Right.
Without
so
a
yeah,
shirt on.
it is a training mission without.
Hey, don't judge me.
I mean,
there's no
the
judgment.
two-handed sword is a lot of
If
work.
anything, I just feel bad for Link.
No, you know, he
I guess
works
there's
up
less
quite a
fabric to
sweat
get in the
sitting
way
that
while
thing
he's
around.
fighting.
Yeah, so as you can see, this is a training level, so you're fighting against a lot of Hyrulean soldiers, and using the two-handed sword, which, you know, aesthetically does look a lot like how it was used in Breath of the Wild. In this game, it's slower but more powerful than the one-handed sword. But the fun thing about it is that he can use the unique action to strengthen his strong attacks. In exchange, he takes a little bit of temporary damage, like that. And in order to heal that temporary damage, you can press X to consume a meal in the middle of battle. I love the animation for him eating.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
see
I
it,
love the
Chico.
animation for him eating.
Let's
Yeah,
get near
if
some
she'll do it
enemies.
for us.
Sorry. I was focused
Oh,
on
get near some enemies. Oh, no, not quite. Okay, so, but one of those eating animations is highly aggressive, and if Chico does it near some enemies, then we will see what happens. And hopefully we'll get an opportunity to show you that because I love it.
Nom nom.
Yeah! Okay, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Aggressive food eating
I
with
love it.
shockwave blast, sending the soldiers flying.
I love that they included that in this game as part of the actual fighting style for the two-handed sword. I think it's a great homage to Breath of the Wild and people who played it like I did, which is to say having a stockpile of apples or something in my inventory so I could chow down when I'm being blown back by a strong attack that did lots of damage.
You can aggressively eat your apples and send those soldiers
Aggressively eat your apples. It's the only way to eat apples in this game.
If you burn
Alright, how many
apples,
KOs do
you
we
can
have?
actually get the grilled apples too.
Oh yeah.
So I have to kill
Alright.
170 more.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're more than halfway.
I'd also like to point out that this location is very familiar. It appeared as ruins in Breath of the Wild, but now, before the calamity, it's in its heyday. And it's very cool to see what it looked like before it got destroyed.
Yeah, and
Nice
Chico,
one,
maybe you
Chico.
can show us some lightning rod action.
What? Hold on.
Oh yeah, we did get to see the ice rod
This
before.
one? Woohoo!
Yeah.
that one.
Poor soldiers. Wait,
You can do it. So, as you can see, what she's timing her attacks for when that weak point gauge comes out. The big strategy against these stronger enemies is to cut down that weak point gauge and create an opening so you can do counter attack, which can be very powerful.
Alright,
Nice
a
one.
little bit more.
I need the big group of soldiers to defeat. Let's see. Oh,
I love the two-handed sword so much. I think it's my favorite. It's so satisfying, you know, to just slam through all of these enemies, you know, these thousands and thousands of enemies. And also to like take a little break to have a snack here and then. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
oh, this is my favorite one.
I'm hoping
Look
we
at
can.
that.
I know your
show
favorite is
some,
the
show some
Soup
flurry
Ladle.
rush too. Oh, of course.
I'm trying! I suck at this thing!
No, you
What?
don't.
No, you don't. You're doing great. You're almost there.
You need to find another one of those captains.
Okay. No, he's not there. Yeah, done.
Nice. There we go.
Oh, yeah, look. It's Daruk!
He's my favorite. He's cool. He's very heavy moving character too. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
He moves surprisingly quickly for someone of his size, though, I have to say.
Yeah. Boy.
Oh,
Oh!
you can do it, Chico. I believe in you.
Keep your own size. I mean, like he's like 3 times
Oh my
bigger than me.
goodness.
Oh my gosh. That looks like a little bit of rough play for training.
They take their training very seriously.
Very strong.
Nice work.
Ah! Take
Nice
that.
Yeah,
work.
wow.
Man, you made very quick
You
work
took
of
them out really
Daruk. Good
fast.
job.
Yeah, you did.
All right, let's cut away from this for a second because we have one other thing we'd like to show you. Chico's got to set it up though. I love Daruk. He's so great. He's such a
Well, and it's really
fun character.
Yeah, and it's cool to see all the various characters, you know, that we know and love from Breath of the Wild, but seeing them in this different setting and seeing all of their special moves and how those differ. I do really like seeing that, and I'm excited for what we're about to show you as well, you the viewers.
Yeah, it's great. It's an amazing thing that they've done with this game to bring us into this era, you know, pre-Calamity, and show us all these characters and show us the intricacies of how they interact and how they perform in battle. It's stuff that I think personally, as a fan of Breath of the Wild, I wished for so hard, was the chance to be able to see these guys in their prime. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and not to bring the soup ladle up too much, but I do want to say I love that they included the soup ladle. You know, that they're bringing it back, and we see those same touches from Breath of the Wild in this game. And Chico mentioned that the weapons aren't breakable, so you really could, you know, equip that soup ladle if you wanted a serious challenge. You could fight with the soup ladle.
Serious.
You could
You know,
use
yes,
weapons to
choose your
make
own
the soup
adventure.
ladle stronger. Yeah. I love it. I love that when you use the soup ladle, you got the pot lid as a shield too. All right, so
Totally.
we're looking at Impa now.
Yeah. So what I want to show is in the distance, but I need to take care of these guys first because these guys just in
Nice.
my way. Okay. Ah!
So obviously, this is a new depiction of Impa that we're seeing here. But Chico is about to show us just what Impa is capable of in the gameplay.
I love her. I love Impa so much. I think she's so much fun to play. She's so quick, and she has these different jutsu attacks that she uses, like the summoning of the frog and the creation of foam.
Let's go.
You did. That was an impressive use of the electric rod, I have to say. And here we have a Hinox. I love it. So yeah, as I was saying, Impa's gameplay, being able to absorb those symbols to create the clones and then strengthen the strong attack when she has all of her clones out is it's really fun. Takes a lot of strategy and timing. Nice. And you can see her her Sheikah rune
Come back.
usage does
Going back.
differ from the other characters we've looked at today too.
Okay.
You can do it. So we discussed earlier
ready.
the usage of runes in order to create openings to counter strong enemies. And it's even more important that you do that when fighting these big monsters too, because if you get the timing right on these, just like
Nice.
that, you can
Just
create
like
these
that.
great dramatic openings for yourself. And it really is vital that you get these weak point smashes in because they do so much damage. And it can really make it easy to, or easier, I should say, to take these guys out.
To take out the poor Hinox that was just having a nap, minding his own business,
I don't
doing
know
his own
about that.
thing. Well, I mean, I would be grumpy too if I got woken up like that.
That's fair. Nice work,
Chico's
Chico.
making short work of this guy.
She really is.
I love that flying squirrel move. The maniacal laughter, yes.
You guys
Nice.
Wow.
All right, I think that's
All right, I
all the
think
time we
that's-
have left for today. Let's stop beating up on this poor Hinox and let him go back to his nap. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. This was Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which releases Friday, November 20th. We hope you enjoyed it. We sure did. And have a great day. Bye-bye.